Okay, a couple questions for you, maybe just one. If this is on, if it's on. John, you might have to click through the PowerPoint. Soundman Dan is still out sick with the Dan cold, so right now we are flying without him on the technology side of things. But I want to hear from you, what is a favorite game that you have? Could be a board game, video game, an actual sport. Just what is a favorite game? Blaine. Uno? And why do you like Uno? All right, I'll take it. Macy?
Rummy Cube.
Rummy Cube.
Yes.
Is it a card game? Is it a dice game?
No.
Is it a sport? What is it?
No. It's a cube. It's a cube game. It's really fun to play with my sister and get mad at her. Which one? Kylie. Oh, I forgot.
Who else had their hand up? Silas.
Angry Birds.
And what is Angry Birds?
Angry Birds is the goat, that's what. You're right!
Who else had their hand up? We won't skip anyone. Aletti.
Minecraft.
Minecraft? Really? Minecraft. And what is that? A sport? A board game?
Action sport. Competitive. Super competitive.
What do you like about Minecraft?
I like to build.
Really?
And kill really.
Okay. Wyatt, I saw your hand up. What do you like about baseball? You get to throw things at people. Okay.
That's true.
Interesting. Youth leader John.
Terraria!
Terraria?
Good answer.
And what is that?
It's a lot.
Is it a board game?
If you make it video game.
A video game.
2D like platformer, kind of like Super Mario, but Minecraft 35,000 times better.
Ah, well, that's a pretty low bar, so I believe you.
Some brains and
All right, let's listen to what Kip's answer is. Kip, you like Minecraft too? Do you like go 1v1 against Aletti in Minecraft?
I win. No. Now, wait.
All right, Utah.
I was gonna say, Terraria, if you break it down, it's kind of like 3D Minecraft.
Like Minecraft?
Breakdance.
I just broke it down for him. What was, Alex, your hand was up.
Softball?
You like softball? And is it because, like, why do you get to throw things at people?
Yes, and I also get to tackle people.
You get to tackle people? And softball. Softball.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Anyone? David.
my favorite game is Genshin Impact.
And what is that?
It's just like an anime.
All right, David says Kitchen Impact. Anyone else who has not answered yet? Only one per person?
The yellow one.
All right. So growing up, I had this game on my DS. It was called Jenga World Tour.
Is that a board game?
No, it was a video game, but it was close. It's based off of a board game, though. Jenga World Tour. And if you're thinking, wow, this game looks kind of mid, you are right. This was not a good game at all. My favorite level was playing Jenga on the moon. And if you can see, we're on the moon. There's a little flying saucer. I think that's Mars. There's a black hole. There's a volcano on the moon. Playing Jenga on the moon. Why you could play on the moon in World Tour? I don't know. But I enjoyed that because the Jenga pieces move different with low gravity on the moon. Does anyone know what Jenga means? To build. We learned that when we started with Kahoot, and you'll see why we did that a little bit later on. Jenga means to build. So tonight what we're going to talk about is building or developing a prayer life. What that means, how to do that. See the smooth transition from Jenga World Tour, building with Jenga, into building a prayer life. So I need 2 people who think they are good at building. All right, boys, your hands are up first. Come on up. We're going to have you build Jenga towers. The rest of us are going to try to knock them down. Before you start building, Matthias, you're strong. Go into the room down the hall. Go around the hall to the bird cage, we call it. there is a bucket. Carefully bring that bucket and its contents back. Do not spill the bucket. I'm being very serious. All right. In the meantime, do you want the big blocks or the little blocks? Okay, you get the little blocks. Go ahead and pull this table out to the middle. All right, you get the little blocks. You get the big blocks. You are going to build the tallest tower you can. You're going to have about 60 seconds to build the tallest tower you can. Are you ready? This is a competition. Whoa, 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 don't start yet. Hold on, we got to tear down that tower.
These aren't like actual.
Is it 4x4? I don't really care how you build it.
They're bigger.
All right, go ahead, make room for Wyatt, so you'll build over here. Wyatt, you'll build on that side. You have 60 seconds. Go. Matthias, set that down right in the corner of the stage there. Not on the stage, please, just next to it. Perfect. Oh, and you can only build 2 blocks across. I don't know if that makes a difference for you from what you're doing now, but 2 blocks. Huh? Oh, Wyatt, only 2. 2 per level.
You should start the timer over. Yeah,
We'll start the timer over. New rule added.
they're already halfway.
We'll just add like 45 seconds. Keep going. Let's cheer them on a little bit. Woo! Build.
You got this.
Build.
That's a good idea.
It's a competition to see who can build taller. Don't give up. I believe in comebacks.
If it's taller, the bigger blocks are gonna win.
Or general height.
You got like 30 more seconds.
With the long end up, and you just start stacking. Spill it balls.
That's a little wide.
It's close.
On the edge.
Give you like 10 more seconds. Let's count them down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Fix those 2 pieces. Can I fix those 2 pieces?
I wouldn't touch that if I were you. All right, it's close.
Can I push this apart?
No, don't.
I wouldn't touch it.
It will.
So Jesus, when he does the Sermon on the Mount, he says a lot of different things. And he says a lot of generalities. One of the things that Jesus says, getting back to the Jenga in a moment, he says this. He's talking Sermon on the Mount. Whoever hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on a rock. Then the rain came down, the streams rose, and the wind blew and beat against the house, yet it did not fall because it had its foundation on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. When the rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew against that house. It fell with a great crash. Now, I was not able to bring in actual stones and actual sand and have us build anything on them. That would be way too messy. I'd feel bad for Jenny's parents. She would hate me forever. Joy. Oh, finishing up the passage here. Jesus finished saying these things. The crowd were amazed at his teaching because he taught as one who had authority, not as their teachers of the law. So Jesus is giving very sound wisdom here. He's saying, look, in life, you're going to face attacks from all directions. It might be around you, right? It might be nothing spiritual, just people or something that you do to yourself. Maybe it is spiritual, and it's the enemy trying to tempt you. It's attacks from below. Or maybe it's a trial from God. It's a test. It's something from above. So you have to be prepared. You have to be connected with God for when these hard times come. Because if you're not in a hard time now, praise God, but eventually hard times will come. You guys follow me so far? So what we're going to try and do, not you two, these guys, is knock these towers down. I need like 6 volunteers. Okay, pretty much everyone. If you're interested in trying to knock them down, just come forward here. Everyone grab not a water gun, but an air gun, and we will use the air to try to blow the Jenga over.
Can I have an air gun? No.
Do you want yellow or blue?
I'll just take whichever one you pull out.
Oh, well, Letty, you don't get one.
We can begin.
Okay, I got to put the fan
We can share. You know what? Here. Oh, are you going to share with her?
Are we going?
Go for it.
It has a bunch of vents in it.
3, 2,
Guys, come on.
Fill yours with vents.
Guys, all at once, all at once.
Well, we've got to vote in the same direction.
All at once. This way, this way, this way.
All right, go for the bigger one.
We're not knocking that down.
Wait, you should have built. Wait,
Actually,
you should have built vents in your tower so it would have went through.
Huh?
Do we have to use the air?
Use the air.
is that even on? Yeah.
It's on the lowest setting. Let's turn it up.
Well,
All right.
if I just like,
The tower with a fan.
Only the air. I don't know if you guys can do it. I wasn't able to do it earlier.
Especially
first off-
because I put vents in it, the air's just gonna go straight through and not push
so
it.
we got to like point blank it.
No, I believe in you guys.
Everyone, this side, we're
don't
pushing it
believe
this way.
I mean, you might be able to make the top block fall off.
Yep, that's lower.
Oh, I saw a movement.
That's because
Yeah, as I
somebody hit
said,
it.
this is not moving.
Yeah, no.
Hey, it's fun.
All right, let's call it. Everyone go back to your seats. Give a round of applause.
More
I get to
effective.
keep this.
Can I blow
No.
really hard one time?
Go for it.
Can we just move the bottom of it?
We'll leave it there.
Because it was built on rock.
All right, well, good job knocking over Blaine's tower. Sorry, Blaine. It's all good. So, my question for you is, a Christian who is not communicating with God wanders around life aimlessly. How do you not end up like Blaine's Jenga blocks? In a spiritual sense, not like that you're an actual block on the ground, but in a spiritual sense, how do you not wind up falling over? Forget the water. We didn't even need water to knock over Blaine's. The wind was enough on its own. How do we not end up like a fallen Jenga block on the ground? 3 quick thoughts for you. Schedule, substance, and scribe. Kind of a stretch with the S words, but I wanted to keep the theme there. So we're going to quickly talk about those with a prayer life. So prayer times. There are 2 examples we're going to talk about. One from the Old Testament, one from the New Testament, of people who would pray at the same times every single day. First being Daniel. Now to understand with Daniel, where Daniel lived in his country, it was actually declared illegal to pray to God. It was declared illegal, and not only was it illegal to pray to God, but it was a crime punishable by the death penalty. So if you were caught praying to anyone but the king, they were able to grab you and kill you. And they tried to do this to Daniel. You know the story. They throw him into the lion's den. God saves him. But here's what it says. So when Daniel had learned the decree had been published, when it was illegal to pray to anyone but the king, illegal to pray to God, he went to his home, to his upstairs room where the windows opened to Jerusalem so people could see him. This was a risk. 3 times a day, he got down on his knees and prayed, giving thanks to his God, just as he had done before it was illegal for him to pray. In the New Testament, we see Jesus, many examples of Jesus praying. Mark 1:35, very early in the morning while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, went off to a solitary place where he prayed. So we see he would do that every morning. Mark 6:46, after leaving them, the disciples, he went up on the mountainside to pray. This was at night when you look at the full story. And in Luke 5, but Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. So we know that it was a habit for Jesus. And if it was important for Jesus to have set times to pray, well, how much more important should that be for us? Like, imagine if for youth group, we didn't meet every Wednesday at 6:30, but instead we met whenever Pastor Thomas felt like it. So if I said, hey, youth group, my house, 2:30 in the morning on Friday, be there. We're going to sing, We're going to play a game, exciting game. We're going to have a lesson in small groups, 2:30 in the morning on Friday. Come on out. How many of you would come? All of you, half of you would come. If I said, hey, we're having youth group Monday morning, 9 a.m. at McDonald's. We're going to play a game. We're going to do worship. Mark will be there. No, but we could have youth group, and it's good. It's healthy for the youth group that we meet at the same time every week. It's a routine. You can work it into your routine. People can come. It just makes sense. So for you guys, I have something for you to write on, and I'm going to do this with you. I guess. Mark, can you pass out the cup pen? And can you just take one and pass these around? Because tonight we are talking about developing a prayer life. This is a very important thing that hopefully you will be able to carry with you through your teen years, and into even your adult years. So we're going to work on this together. The clipboards that are being passed around have an outline. If you're wondering, how can I build my life of prayer? That's what we're going to do. They all work. I tested all of the pens. We're good.
Wait. I got two that work. This one works a little bit.
There's a few more back there, if not. I think we're good. I think you need one.
Do I need to write my name on this?
I need you to write your full name on there, Macy.
Well, I actually don't know how to spell my middle name.
Write something so people know that it's you. So what we're going to do a couple things with this paper, but what I want you to do is I want you to just think of a time. I want you to just think of a specific time during the day that you can set apart and make it a time you're going to pray. Only spend in prayer. Set it apart and give it to God. And the more specific that you can be about this time, the better. So for you, if it's rather than saying in the morning, put 6:30 to 6:37, you're going to pray. Or rather than on the bus, if you ride the bus, just put the first stop to the fourth stop after me. Or if it's at night, don't say like at night, but put like after I get ready for bed, but before I get into bed. So the more specific that you can be in writing at the top a time you can set apart to pray, the better. We'll do that for like, 60, 90 seconds, something like that. Okay, if you're still with me, give me a good, huh?
Wait, what? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Okay, part 2. So now that we have a time, like a real time, not just like hopefully morning or not just night, but an actual time during the day, let's talk about what we can pray for. And we talked about this last week. Does anyone know who this is? Michael Jackson. How did you know? Does anyone know why I picked a photo of Michael Jackson? The ABC 1, 2, 3 Do Re Mi song that he sings. Yes, one of my favorite songs. So last week we talked about the ABC list of prayer, right? Like the ABC list. That was an acronym that we used listing 7 different areas of life that we can pray over. Does anyone, well, I guess they're on the paper there. So we have adore, bless, confess, lament, intercede, supply, and thank. We talked about this all of last week. If you want to go deeper than just a surface level prayer, if you have ever really just struggled with being more comfortable or better at prayer, sounds nice, but you just don't really know how to get there, these 7 areas will help you grow tremendously. Even if you think, okay, you're pretty comfortable with praying on your own and you can talk to God. Looking at these 7 areas in your life, spending time talking to God through them will help you grow tremendously. I promise you, no matter where you're at, these things will help you. So on your paper, I just want you to circle one area, one of the 7 that are listed there. Circle one of the 7. And what we are going to do is for the next 75 seconds, I want you to just sit and silently pray over that one area. 75 seconds. We will start now. Okay. 75 seconds has passed. I was going to write it on here since I can't circle it. I just picked supply. You can't see that very well because I can think of like 100 things that I need God's help with. I need God's help in being a good husband to Aaron. I need God's help in being a good youth pastor here at Life Point Alliance. I need God's help to be more joyful, be more peaceful, be more gentle. His help with, we talked about it last week, we want to start up social media. We'd like to advertise to the community what we do here with youth groups, see the youth group grow. Wouldn't it be cool if one day there was like a high school day and there was a middle school day? We're not there yet, but those are all things, just very simple things I rattled off that I need God's help with. Very, very easy to pray for those things. So again, if you pray over these 7 areas, like you will grow tremendously. If you have a specific time, you know what to pray over, you will see the change. Uh-oh. John, can you click me through? To the next one, and then I think the next one after that, falling behind. Okay, so journaling. Scribe, because it was the only S word that matched. Writing down what you pray for. Who has ever done this before? You keep a journal? Tell us about that.
It's a little journal in my lunchbox, so whenever I want to like pray to him, but kind of not pray to him, I write it.
That's pretty cool. So what's so cool about journaling is that it is good for you, but it's also good for other people. Now, I'll be the first to admit I don't really like writing a whole lot. When I was younger, my hand would like cramp up and get a weird welt from using a pen or a pencil for too long. So I didn't really enjoy writing down, but I did enjoy doodling. So an interesting way you can write about the things you pray for, if you don't like writing, try drawing a picture of what you prayed for. See if you can exercise your brain in that way. John, can you go to the next slide, please? But like I said, it's good for you, but it's also good for other people. If you write about what you pray for, how is it good for you? Well, you can see how God has supplied your needs. If you write down now in January, God, I need you to give me patience because there's a person at school who's mean to me and I like to be mean back. I don't really like this person. And in 3 months, it's not like that anymore. You can say, wow, I've been praying about this for 3 months and I see now how God has brought about this change. You can see God interceding in other people's lives. If you pray for someone who you know is sick to get better, and they do, you can say, okay, I can see how God worked in this person's life. If you write down a salvation list, someone who doesn't know Jesus, and you're praying that they do come to know Jesus, whenever it happens down the road, you can look back and say, okay, here's what God has done, interceding in someone's life. You can see how your confessions change. Are you more aware of sin? Have you moved away from sins in your life? You can find new things that you're praising God for. So when you keep a record of what you are praying about and you look back, it's amazing when you have the visual of how much God has done over the course of time. It's good. It's helpful to keep a record because when you talk to other people, if you have it written down, we can just start to rattle off. Yeah, in the last 3 months, I've seen God move in this person's life. God has done this for me. I've found out this about God. He's helped me remove this sin from my life. God is good. You know, we're at a really interesting point in time in our country's history. I don't really like to get political, but I thought tonight it'd be appropriate. Because for so long, I mean, at least since the 2010s, it's been so strong since the 2010s, you know, we've just been like this as Americans, as young people, as older people, like drawing away from God, wanting nothing to do with Him, getting into all kinds of bad spiritual stuff, witchcraft, Satanism, all kinds of awful, awful things. I've seen it a lot since the 2010s. Maybe it's because, you know, I was aware of what was going on in the world in that time frame. It's probably been much, much longer than that, a steady decline. And right now, like right now in history, we have a new president. There seems to be like this big renewed interest in church, in God. A lot of people are looking for structure. A lot of people are looking for hope. People are looking for what we have as Christians. People are looking for hope. People are looking for God right now. Like, it's so weird. We're at like this pivotal moment where there could be a really big upswing. People going back to God, a revival happening. And if you can share with other people, hey, here's how God is moving in my life. Here's what God is doing. You get them excited. You get them wanting to share this with you. We're in this position right now where you can make that kind of difference. So keeping a record of how God has answered your prayers, or even just what you've prayed over, can be a very powerful thing if you do it every day. So what I want you to do, whatever you prayed over in the bottom rectangle on your paper, I want you to either write what you prayed over, or I want you to draw it for 2 minutes. Or if you're really feeling up for it, do both. Write what you prayed over and draw it. We'll do this for 2 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes is up. Crazy, right? Does anyone want to share what they drew? Did anyone draw what they prayed about? David, what did you draw?
I was just doing the think one. I just drew like my family and like stuff that skills that I have and my friends and all that.
I gotcha.
But my pen broke, so I'm like drawing like this and it's really sloppy.
I like it. So, not a very long lesson tonight, but the building blocks, literally, how do you develop a prayer life? Because it's so important to do that now. It's easier to do it now than as you get older, because as you get older, you get more responsibilities. It might become harder to build these habits. You have a set time, you set it apart to talk to God, just like Daniel did, just like Jesus did. There's more examples in the Bible of that. You have a list, different areas to talk to God about, and keep a record of those things. What did you talk to God about? You might not like it at first. You might just keep a notes app in your phone and just jot things down there. I use notes app all the time. I rarely write with my hand. Those are the building blocks to developing a prayer life. Otherwise, you will end up not like Wyatt's still standing Jenga blocks, but like Blaine's fallen over, depressed, sad Jenga blocks. Sorry, Blaine. So, John, can you turn off the main lights? And go to the last slide. What we are going to do for the next 10 minutes, I want you to pray over the other areas that you did not circle on the paper. As you pray through them, I just want you to write down what you prayed about on the paper, on the line, underneath the area. After that, I want you to come up and write your name on a Jenga block. And then we're going to change small groups a little bit. We're going to keep the girls over there in the fishbowl, and then the guys, we will go over here to the bird cage, and no one will be in this room. Make sense? You can do it. I believe in you. You can do it for 10 minutes. Yes. Oh, a big Jenga block. I'll have Sharpies I got them over here somewhere. We can do it for 10 minutes, starting now.